Hello and Paper Tuesdays to welcome with Michael Dwyer and Marc Halpin. Woo!
That's the best entrance yet. Why are we so excited? Because we're doing the bingo Friday night.
Bingo Friday night.
DM us and we'll give you a few bucks. Yeah.
Finger guns. All right. So looking forward to that. Excommunicated from my own club, but it'll be fun.
It will. It's been quite the treat with Gary Malloy and Conor MacDonald were unreal, and now this. I'm looking forward to the dynamism of the bingo, Mark, because I feel we'll have a gret flow to it. You know, a bit of variety to the numbers. You know, I'll be going one Kelly's Eye, and then you'll come in with two Little Ducks 22, and just bounce off each other.
Yeah.
Just be
two fat people. It can't be ladies.
Oh yeah,
fat people. We don't discriminate with gender.
Oh no way, no way.
Yeah. So that'd be fun.
Yes, yeah. So please do support and DM us for the books. So anyhow, let's go to the Parish of the Week, Mark. And this week's Parish of the Week, boom boom, is it comes from the BBC. Thanks BBC. And actually, another just a footnote, just to say that I'm actually delighted, Mark. April Fool's was last week, and all the local newspapers did Donald Trump is now building a castle in Offaly, or he's actually in Clare at the moment. Paper Tuesdays showing its true journalism integrity did not do any April Fool's jokes. You know,
no, we didn't.
No. So it's a sign of what Paper Tuesdays is about. You know, real, honest, independent journalism.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what day it was.
Here, Parish of the Week, Mark. We're going to All Saints Shirley in South Wark in South London, and that's because the local rector there in the Church of Ireland church there,
rector
or Church of England, that'll be over there, Reverend Yvonne Clark. There she is. She was the first. What was she? The first black female deacon to be ordained in the Church of England back in 1987. And she's about to lose her home and her parish because the diocese has said that they've decided, because of a lack of money, they're going to have to amalgamate the parishes. And I'm surprised that she's going to lose her home and the parish. But I'm sure they'll have to figure out and put her somewhere else.
They'll sort her out, I'd say. No, they're not going to leave her homeless.
But she's really not too happy with it, and she says it's been her mission to ensure that immigrants and children of immigrants in the area have been welcomed into the church, and she's worked with the diverse community, and she's brought a wider group of worshippers to the church. So that's where she wants to, as she says herself, see out her ministry. So yeah, I just found it. Oh yeah, by the way, Miss Clark's solicitor said the closure would have an impact on the community. So this woman is not going away lightly. She's taken on the whole big church. Yeah. So anyway, actually, the solicitor says the Church of England has made clear its intention to tackle institutional racism, wherein it is clear decisions are made to preserve the white church structures with which its priests and more senior clergy are more familiar. Boom! Bang! Jane. So there's no resolution here to this article, Mark. The church says that they have a robust structure to examine their policies, and they have a flourishing diocesan minority ethnic affairs committee. I'd say they have some crack.
Oh my God. The Protestants have always been more jazzy, haven't they? We don't have any of this. There'll be no ethnic stuff. There'll be no women. There'll be no nothing. There'll be no. You do what you're told, and that's it. If you don't like it, tough enough. Spread them. We don't have fucking ethnic diversity councils, and we don't have any of that shit. There's no obviously is white fucking whatever in Catholicism, but we don't have people arguing with it.
Yeah,
you don't argue
the whiteness.
Yeah.
Gee.
Oh no, maybe
I don't know.
There's a lot of Asher didn't. Tommy Tiernan had a joke before where it's we used to send all our priests South Africa to teach them the word of God, and then what did we start bringing back from Africa a few years ago? Missionaries to teach us about Catholicism, because all the priests were dying out.
Yeah, some of them are gas. There's a lad up in Cavan, where some of my relatives are, and it's in the back arse of nowhere, and there's one story at a time, Mike. Anyway, so he ends fast with saying, and as I always say, don't worry, and then the people say back to him, be happy, in their big Cavan accents. And he used to sing Red Red Wine, but then people started saying, no, you can't be doing that because you're encouraging alcohol. So then he said, okay, I won't sing Red Red Wine. So yeah.
That's great. They're the best.
No, we're learning from them. Yeah.
Yeah, we should. If we had a missionary priest down here, I'd start going again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start the gospel choir. Marc helping's gospel choir.
Marc's helping soul and rhythm. That's what oh, happy days. Oh, happy days.
Longford Leader. That's where all the juicy stories come from. A vintage tractor stolen from shed in West Cork, recovered 400 kilometres away in Leitrim. Now, isn't that some burglary? So on the morning of March 24th, Gardaí and Bantry received a report that a vintage tractor had been stolen from a shed on land in Scull.
On land?
On land.
That's the strangest thing I've heard to link in an article.
The underwater sheds are in Scull weren't affected by this incident. So following their initial inquiries, Gardaí located the tractor in Carrick-on-Shannon, some 400 kilometres away. The stolen tractor has since been returned to the owner. Imagine the ordeal. Imagine if you said, no, do you know what? I want to fight crime and I want to protect the people and I joined the Gardaí. And then, 20 years later into your service, you have to organise a tractor to move from Leitrim back to Cork.
I'd watch the documentary.
That's the other story I was going to say. So now we're going to there was this I stumbled on YouTube yesterday, and there was this Cavan Man. Robbie, I'll send you the video, because this Cavan Man was giving out about his post office closing, and he was just, it was like the drumlins and the lakes of Cavan just produced this man. It was just the most rural, gentle. It was the rural. I don't know. You'll see from the video what I'm talking about.
Help to me anyway. No benefit, but I don't know how I'm going to manage.
Yeah. You're still driving, Jim. At least you'll be.
I am for a while anyway.
Yeah. Your understanding is that the service has been moved to Ballyconnell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where are you living yourself, Jim?
I'm living away above in Glangap.
In Glangap, yeah. And what do you think about this closure of post offices and rural towns and the state of rural towns?
Oh, no, it's very, very bad. Huh?
Yeah.
Very, very bad. It leaves the people that's living in the area. You can see nobody.
Yeah.
But one of the comments said, YouTube algorithm, he'll watch anything at this stage. It's like, it was a 5-minute video about how his post office closed, and it was just obscure. It was very good. Anyway, back to the tractor in Cavan. So no arrests have been made, but Gardaí in Leitrim this was. No arrests have been made, but Gardaí are following a definite line of inquiry. So I wonder what the line of inquiry is. Wouldn't you love to know?
Yeah. Where would you start? You need one of those billboards in the stream. It's like land, tractor. It's like a C with a big circle and an X going through it. A picture of a wave. Right, we're on to it.
There you are. Thank you for that, Longford. I don't know why the Longford Leader is covered that either. I don't know. Longford isn't involved in that.
The Longford Leader is great.
You've spotted it, Marc. Well done.
It's a trend.
Yeah. Here, this is an interesting one now, moving from local to more international affairs. So this comes from the Irish Times, friends of the pod, and RTE reporter in Beijing flees China with husband after threats. So this is Irish journalist Vaughan Murray, who had been reporting for RTE from Beijing, has been forced to flee China's what she calls hostile atmosphere with her family amid concerns for the safety of her husband, veteran BBC correspondent John Sudworth. So the two of them have decided to relocate with their children to Taiwan. They felt they had no option but to flee their home. For years, it felt like they were lurching from crisis to crisis. And it started with ridiculously short visas, often just 1 month and not renewed until the very last minute. And when that didn't work, it progressed to full-scale personalized attacks and legal threats carried in Chinese state media and pumped out across Chinese and international social media.
Wow. Leave.
Oh, that's a simple solution for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't like it. Go somewhere else.
Wow, Marc, you're so unpredictable, because a few weeks ago when we were kind of just talking about the weather or whatever, you were like, China, no one's talking about China. I thought you would jump on this and say, yeah, that's why. No, you're
China are bastards, right? If you live there, you don't like it. Move.
Right.
It's that simple.
Okay.
Or now people complain about Ireland as well. These fucking arseholes. Go somewhere else. Go fuck off to fucking Taiwan and see how good it is there.
Namaste, paper juice.
Namaste. Shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, Robbie, best of luck with this one. So yeah, well, sure, that's the scale there, really. She's very unhappy, and they face threats of legal action. Yeah, Taiwan apparently they have a thing with pineapples. They grow pineapples over there.
Oh, do they? And shoelaces.
Shoelaces.
Yeah, they've bad shoelaces.
They've bad.
You can only Taiwan.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, Mark. Well done.
Thanks.
You're here all day.
I'm here all week. Bingo, Friday night.
Here, we'll take a few TTPs back. I want to go to there's so many here. Calling Australia. Tell me about that.
This was just a massive pain in the arse I had during the week. So I got an email from Australia. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I got an email from Australia. It's like, there's an outstanding payment on your account, which I thought I'd closed.
Right.
So could you please contact us? This is a matter of urgency. We'll ring. This will go on your credits and stuff like that. So I was like, right, I'll try to get it sorted. Couldn't ring him because it won't let me through to ring him, to ring Australia. It was outside of the time zone. So then I got up a bit earlier so I could ring them. Couldn't ring them. I sent them emails, multiple emails. Then again, I was like, all right, fair enough, can't get through. Next week, they're like, this is now a matter of urgency. We will have the authorities involved. And then I was like, look, I can't fucking contact you. I emailed them again. And then they sent another one saying that they were getting the authorities involved. So then I was like, right, look, I'm just going to have to find a fucking way of calling them. So I spent like €25 trying to get through a phone call to Australia. Yeah. And then your man was like, okay, I'll transfer. I was waiting on a call on hold for ages. And he goes, I'll transfer you to the correct number. And then when he was transferring me, he made a mistake and cut me off. So I had to do the whole fucking phone call again. And then he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I pressed the wrong number. So then I had to ring again. They put me to the right person. Do you know how much money was outstanding in my account? 20 Australian dollars maintenance fee on an account they forgot to close. That's what this was over.
But how were they going to report you to the Irish authorities? Because I've heard stories before of like cute Irish lads going over to Australia and then leaving with a heap of credit card debt or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't. I suppose they didn't know I lived back in Ireland. That's why they thought the account was still open. Because once I told them I'd moved home, they just cancelled that €20.
You're on a bit of a morality streak, aren't you? Like last week you had the whole thing about the supplements, and now this week it's closing your account and settling your, in case the Australian credit card. Well, in case you ever went back to Australia, that would go against you. No, I follow you now.
Yeah. Well, like Orla, Brendan's fiance, she had an outstanding medical bill in New Zealand she didn't know about, and when she went to apply for her mortgage, they brought that up.
Wow. Okay.
So she had to go and pay that. It was like a hospital visit or something. But yeah, they trace it back to that as well. So I just wanted, I had to get all that sorted because it could have been nothing. Like I didn't know what the fee was, so it could have been fucking like I sold my car to a dodgy fella before I left. So I don't know what it could have been. So that was it. So I am taking moral high ground now, and I am better than everybody else. The rest of you should feel bad. And,
it won't be long till you're verified on Twitter as well.
Yes.
Actually, speaking of Australia, now we're almost a year into this lockdown, and almost a year since you're back in Ireland. Are you you're talking the margins of you remaining on Australia are probably slim? Like there wasn't a whole lot there.
Remaining over there.
It was only a matter of chance that you just felt that the time was right because of the pandemic shutdown or whatever to come back.
I could have still been there. Had it been like maybe another month, I wouldn't have got back. I left Melbourne 2 days before they got that big second spike where everything closed down. So I was lucky in that regard. I could have still been there.
Do you think
Christmas now?
Oh yeah. Are you're happier that you came back?
Yeah, happier that I came back, but like again, I don't think I'm finished traveling either. I think I would like to do a bit more. I actually done some work on it today. You read the 4-hour work week, and this disaster. There is a name for it. He has a name for it. But you plan out the worst case scenario if you've done it. Because I was like thinking about, do I want to go do this sort of sabbatical traveling for a while? And I done it. I was like, had all this shit in my head, and I was like, oh, this and this and this. Then you write it all down. You write down if this is with anything. If you're making a business plan, if you want to leave your job, you want to move, you want to travel, you want to do anything. You write down what could go wrong. And then if it goes wrong, like the absolute worst thing that could happen, absolute catastrophe, write down all those things. Say, what could happen? What could I do to rectify everything that happens? Do you do that? And then what's the positives of it if I'd done this thing? And you'll find that the negatives are always solvable and the positives outweigh the negatives. with most things, because there's a reason you want to do something, and that's why I'm pretty sure I will go traveling again. I don't know for how long, but I reckon I will again.
Deadly. Very good.
But obviously not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Was another TTP. I burst myself in the face with a barbell this morning.
Oh dear.
How
did you do that?
So I done the Olympic lifting workshop yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of the key points for me was like, get your face out of the way. That's just the main thing. Get your face out of the way. Don't hit yourself in the face. So I went out and practiced this morning. The first thing I did was smashed myself in the face with a barbell.
That's
so
good.
I brought it up, like you snap it up from your hips, and I snapped it up, bang. Yeah.
Jenny Mac. Is that kind of like, when you're horse riding, they say you have to fall off a horse 7 times before you're right then, you're ready to go. Like,
you have to smash yourself in the face with a barbell, yeah. It probably does. Sure, that's like, you have to drown to learn to swim, don't you?
Oh dear. Here, Mark, gardening, happy funerals, right?
Yeah, go on.
I was, you know the way normally when it comes to girlfriends, girlfriends, you hear me? That'll be a good one now. So Ash, normally I'm saying about all her driving habits and this, that, and the other. Well, she's done something that gets 10 out of 10 for me. Right. She's going to grow a cut flower garden, and she's cultivated the ground. It's a triangle of her granny's garden, and she's planted bulbs and seeds for this corner of the garden, and it's going to be cut flowers, so that it's an intensive area where she cuts the flowers and then makes a nice little vase inside.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, isn't it great? I was so impressed by the whole process. But anyway, this is the first time in a while that I observed the whole thing of planting a bulb. And it struck me that, because you're only focused on getting enough clay and soil out of the ground, and you drop it down at the bulb and you cover it over, that it was like a happy funeral. That it was like that, this bulb, this thing that, isn't that attractive, and we put it in the ground, and then in a few months' time, it'll flower and it'll give life and beauty to this little area. So I know this is only a tiny little corner of a garden, but it was taken by this whole idea of that. I wonder, I'm going to leave that airy fairy top, but I just mean in general that even when you look at the journey of the flower itself, it is like a happy funeral.
So like the dead body is like okay, or it's a sad thing or whatever, and then it grows up, and the spirit is like the flower that comes out of the ground. Yeah. Is that like a happy funeral? Have you ever been to a happy funeral?
That's a great question. That is a brilliant question. I don't think so. You?
No, no funeral is happy, but funerals are great after the good crack, because everyone's around, and you're not supposed to be happy, but then you are for some reason. Well, I am anyway. Maybe I'm inappropriate, but I do have good crack at funerals, unfortunately.
Apparently there was great crack, or I think we discussed it before that apparently Irish funerals back hundreds of years ago were massive crack. They were it's like a send off, sure. Yeah, sure, the Celtic gods and all that. Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. 1729.com. Now, I'm recommending this recommendation of the week, right? This is off the charts, and I'm not going to explain this properly, but anyway, there was a podcast 4 hours long. 4 hours, and I'm recommending something you probably haven't got around to listen to it.
No.
It's probably worth the investment. This man Balaji is kind of this techie guy, and he sees things that he's predicting things that are a bit off the wall, but it seems like he has his head screwed on. So, but it's all about tech anyway. So he started this thing called 1729.com, and it's a weekly or daily newsletter, and it sends out tasks. So the idea is that this newsletter will upskill the likes of people like you and me, but it'll also upskill people in the third world that have access to the internet but don't have access to courses. So in getting in their this email maybe to a 16-year-old in Brazil or someone in Africa, that they will learn skills that will help them climb out of poverty and climb to a better, because these are skills and investments that will serve them in the future marketplace. So one of the tasks was to post a fitness evidence of a fitness workout. So even though this is a tech newsletter, because they want to develop a community where fitness is an important trait, I suppose he even went into great detail on the importance of it. and I won $10 worth of Bitcoin as a result of the evidence. So like there's a reward for these tasks. So while I would be deficient in a lot of the coding areas at the moment, it gives you encouragement to make the basic steps, and it's like a small challenge that, you know, it can easily be completed. There was a fitness workout, so that's an easy one for me, but it gives you more encouragement to do the others. So yeah, all the rewards of Bitcoin. This man is big into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and
he's giving out this Bitcoin himself. Like, really, he must be a millionaire.
Yeah,
very well done.
But he sees the value in it as well, you know, because I suppose, you know, it's in an age where college education really, well, maybe if you took the right course, maybe it'd serve you well. But I think it's more in the idea that, you know, there have to be better ways for people to climb the ladder to a career that's that would fit into a more technological world.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. Now, I tried it. I signed up for it, but like that's all beyond me. I didn't see that fitness one, but they're all like fucking coding and like technology and stuff, and like it involves me getting on a computer. So I just sort of, you know, But I'd like to get involved in that, and if people do want to get involved in it and they are willing to do that sort of stuff, it's a very good way to spend your time.
Are we into pre-qualify phone owners?
Yeah, so I think I talked about this with you before, maybe off the air. But I was talking to Connor Moore the other morning, and we were saying about this. We were looking at someone who probably shouldn't have a phone, and they post a lot on Instagram and social media. And I think you know who I'm talking about already,
right? Yeah.
So I just mentioned that like we should have a test when you go into a phone shop.
Oh,
you have to pass some sort of IQ test, or like a personality or aptitude test to see if you're allowed to have a phone, because like it's for their own good. Like fucking hell, some people are. It's self-destructive in a way, really, isn't it? Like they lead much happier lives offline.
I never thought of someone suggesting that. I thought communism was, you know, like that seems another. I don't know. I don't think I'd agree, Mark, but no. I really admire how you thought of that solution to the world's problems.
Thank you. You don't think so? You don't think there's people that just shouldn't
let them off? Yeah. You have a face like I can't believe it. That's such horror into the world.
I'm sure there's a lot of people on the same boat as you, but I'm completely on my side here. I do. It's compassion on my side.
You should be wearing a high-vis vest in a phone shop, and you say, "No, take that. No, it's for your own good. For your own good. Your mammy be delighted."
I'd be Instagram police or something. My face pops up on the screen.
Yourself.
What's 3 to the power of 4? Phone shuts down.
You found a new role for yourself. It's like these COVID-19 compliance officers never knew what they were going to face, battling a pandemic, and now you're just protecting people.
Protecting them from themselves, really.
That's a good one, Mark. Last one. Shout out to our executive producer Gavin Stamp, and he had this Instagram up lately of something: when this pandemic is over, I'll never walk again. And that's why I'd like to discuss with you, Mark, walks.
Oh yeah.
They've taken I'd like to know the history of walking. Like, we we like have these walking tracks that have kind of sprouted over. Like, why did we feel the need for these walking tracks? Like, is it because that roads are busy, or so? Where did people walk before they had walking tracks? Did they walk in the roads, or did they walk in the fields? So where were they walking?
Walking on the road, I suppose.
On the road.
People still walk on the road. I walk on the road if I was going walking.
Yeah. So, but then say in the pandemic, like, has there been an increase in walking?
I'd say so. Yeah, sure, people aren't really going anywhere. You can't really have to stay in your 5K. And walking's good for your head, I suppose. It's a good exercise. It's low impact.
Yeah, I suppose Jolly Quigley is big into her walks as well. And it's just something that it's such a simple thing. Like, There
It wouldn't be big on my list now. I used to argue people that walking wasn't exercise, but it is. I've changed my mind. It is.
You said that really quickly in case there were people pouncing on.
Shut up.
Paper Tuesdays. We're going to talk to a golfer shortly.
Okay, so someone suggested that a way to solve your problems was to look at your problem and say, what would this look like if it was easy? So I said, what if I said, what would my life look like if it was easy?
Wow. Okay.
So I wrote this down.
I'm doing that thing again where I look at all the things.
Yeah, you're looking at my answers, right?
Right, here we go.
What my life would look like if it was easy. My hair would stay the same length. So I wouldn't have to get it cut.
Oh, right.
It'd make my life easier.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Someone suggested this, really?
No, that's how you look at your problems. You say, what would
okay.
this situation look like if it was easy? So I said, my life is sort of a problem. So how would I fix this? So I said, my nails would clip themselves. Somebody else would brush my teeth. Hula hooping would be enough exercise. Alcohol is a vitamin. I'm not afraid of my emotions. Scrambled eggs don't stick to the pan. I have a girlfriend who only exists after 6 p.m.
Sorry, bear in mind, you go to bed at 8.
Yeah,
it's 2 hours. Hello. Off to bed now. Adios. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Another 2 hours. Sorry, go on.
I can wear white shoes more than once without destroying them. People on the internet lightened up a bit.
Oh, yeah.
I can pull off a shumper. Harambe still alive and no Enniscorthy.
That is brilliant.
So I'm going to set you a challenge now, Michael. So you have to tell me what your life would look like for next week.
For next week. That's
a
great idea.
What would your life look like if it was easy?
Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Jason's in the waiting room. We let him
Fantastic. Yes, Jason. Come on down. Hello and welcome back to the second half of Paper Tuesdays. This week we have Jason Rackard with us. Michael, would you like to?
Jason was introduced to us by James Mordaunt, who we had. Did you have an interview with James back a while ago, or when you had the Mullingar Cup? Or
no, it's funny. I got to know James. We were a friend of mine runs a horse racing kind of a Facebook page type thing that he started up a few years back, and he just decided to start a bit of a podcast, and he asked me what I liked doing it, and he got it. However he met James, I can't really remember, but yeah, James was with myself and another friend of mine, Jay, and Davey and James. The four of us done a bit of a racing podcast there for about, I don't know, maybe 10 episodes of that.
Yeah.
Back about 2019, maybe the start of 2019. So that's kind of how I met James.
Cool. You big into the racing then as well, or like?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I just follow. Yeah, I kind of followed a good bit. I have done so for years. Grandfather had a couple of horses, and my next door neighbour trained a few horses. So kind of since I was a young lad, I kind of always liked it and enjoyed it, and just kept following it. And yeah, sure, I love the big ones like Cheltenham and Aintree and Punchestown and Fairyhouse and Christmas, and there's loads of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was great buzz out of it. People got a right kick out of Cheltenham. I think I certainly did anyway.
It's good,
Yeah. Jason, your golfing success last August, it was brilliant. I'm sure from a personal point of view, but it was a great story altogether for someone like yourself. Like I like to think that it shows that if you work hard enough for long enough, you might just succeed. So you might just set the tone for us, Jason, and set the scene for us. Like what does the Mullingar Scratch Cup represent in the Irish amateur golfing calendar, and how were you feeling going into it?
Yeah, I suppose look with Mullingar, it's probably one of the most prestigious Scratch Cup in the country. So with Scratch Cups, they're always stroke play events. So whether it be 36 holes, maybe one day of Saturday, or 54 holes, or a full 72. There's not many 72-hole Scratch Cups left in the country, so it's all stroke play. A lot of the events we play are 2-round stroke play, and then top 64 generally qualify for the match play. So you have like your North of Ireland, South of Ireland, East of Ireland, West, and then you have your Irish Amateur, which is stroke play, and Irish Close. I think the Irish Close the Irish Close is match play as well. I've never played the Irish Close. And Mullingar would be kind of like, if anyone that watches golf, would be kind of like a Players' Championship, of the golfing world. You know, you have your 4 majors and then you have the players. That's kind of what it's like. But yeah, it's a mad one. Like, you're playing against lads who are playing it full time and doing nothing else, and they don't. A lot of them are not working. They're just kind of playing golf and giving it a go and trying to make it. And here I come and spoil the party. But yeah, like it's always something kind of out. I just wanted to see how good I was, to see if I could win something like that, and to get across the line last August was class.
Yeah. So, like, going into it, like, you took golf back up after college, so you probably had 6 or 7 years of golf, and then, like, did lockdown kind of help put you in the right shape going into it, or what do you think?
Yeah, so I would have played GA from a very young age, and would have played nothing kind of, not that I would have played nothing only GA, which I played them all, like played soccer, football, hurling, golf. I would have been always kind of decent playing at golf. I got to probably 4 handicap when I was 16, and I was always good, but it was always playing second fiddle to playing hurling or football. Like, they always chose hurling or football over golf. And yeah, I was with Wexford the whole way up along till minor, and then I was in college. I didn't really play much, and I just kind of lost interest, and that's kind of what I do if I don't have any interest. Like, it's like with the hurling now, or when I give it up, like I just didn't have any interest, and I just said, what's the point in playing if you don't have any interest? And I always kind of wanted to see how good I'd be if I did give golf a bit of a go, if you know what I mean. But like, still working at the same time, but I just kind of wanted to see how good I was. And back in it was about 2010, I started trying to get good, and we done well with the club in Escarty in 2011. We won a Barton Cup. So for anyone that knows what a Barton Cup is, I played with one of my best mates, and 2011 we won a Barton Shield, which would be the best 4 men in each club. It's a foursomes event, and we got to the All-Ireland semi-finals, and we did a really good team that year. And I think that's what kind of gave me the bit of a grow for it, I suppose. And played a couple of. I would have never been really low enough to get into kind of Irish men's events and stuff. And then 2013 roughly, I played at South, and I played maybe Mullingar a year after, and I just got the bug, and I found myself, I got to scratch handicap, and I kind of just from there on, I went back playing hurling then for about 3 years, and we were unlucky not to win a county intermediate. It was intermediate A title, and we were beaten in a semi-final replay, and I played 1 game the following year, and I said, here, look, pack it in and go play golf. It's easier. Less hassle.
Yeah. Say, was it only then, or maybe, look, to be honest, I don't have any clue about Marc or golf. Do you, Marc? No.
Not since you played down in Blackwater or Tree.
Oh, yeah. I think Daddy Dixon said my swing was, or someone's messages said my swing was made them sick or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah. So tell us, you put a lot of work invested into like videoing your swing and applying some of the wisdom from Padraig Harrington into your game back before the Mullingar Cup. Is that right?
It would be just around the time of lockdown. I remember Harrington was bringing out videos or something, and he was Harrington talks an awful lot of shite, but at the same time, he, like, everything he says, everyone can kind of relate to it. Anyone that plays golf can kind of relate to him, so he makes it interesting for people to listen to, like, and he's good old crack, and I'm a bit of a, anyone that kind of plays golf is a bit of a golf nerd. Like, you'll be fucking sitting on YouTube looking at videos of this, that, and that from fucking China and Australia and anywhere, if you can get any sort of a tip off them or whatever. And I just practiced, and I remember when I got to Mullingar, I was in the hotel that evening, and I said to one of the lads who was with me, I said I was playing well, and I kind of thought I'd do well, and never thought I'd win. Like, but I thought I'd do well. The only mistake I made is I didn't have a few quid on myself. It was a wicked price, but that's another story. But it was class. Yeah, it was deadly.
And looking at Mullingar, so obviously your grandnephew Nicky Rackard, like, do you ever think or reflect on, you know, the family name and how your ancestors might view your success or anything like that?
Yeah, it's mad really. Like even now, no matter where you go and people hear the surname and they kind of relate back to whatever, like especially the older generation. Like it was nice. I was at home. It was a couple of weeks after Mullingar, I think, was it? Yeah. And I happened to be in the golf club one day, and Kira, the girl in the pro shop, handed me a letter. And I was like, I kind of didn't put any pass on, and I threw it in the front seat of the car. I was going hitting a few balls or something. I can't remember what I was at. But I opened it when I got home, and it was from a man in Limerick who wrote me a long lead. Obviously didn't have a mobile number ran from me or whatever, but he wrote me a letter saying about how he used to follow Nicky and Bobby and Billy and all back in the 50s and this, that, and the other. And you know, it's nice to get that type of stuff. So you can kind of, the older generation more so, you can kind of they kind of relate to you more. And it's a good kind of conversation breaker where like you can kind of chat, and especially in golf, like you kind of see a lot of the older generation, and then kind of when you're going away and bits and pieces of people will say to you, oh, you were a Rackard from wherever, and you'd be like, kind of, yeah. So you do just kind of have a chat about that. No, it's good. Yeah, like they've all been good. I've never kind of felt any pressure. Like I don't think about that type of stuff. I wanted to play golf, and that was it. Like loads of lads be on your back to kind of go back down hurling or whatever, and I just like, nah, look at I'm good at golf and I'm going to give it a go. I think I win something else.
Yeah, there seems to be, I would never have thought about, like in golf, there seems to be the same camaraderie and sporting teamwork necessary. Like when you comment on like you comment there on the Barton Shield back in 2011, you know, that you got a buzz from that, but also in general terms, like there was another example of that teamwork. Oh yeah, like the pressure and the tension that you felt, not during the Mullingar Cup, but a few weeks previous in the club when there were 60 or 70 people watching. Like, how would you describe that? Like, we're used to analogies like the boxer in the ring and the hurler, the footballer standing over that important free kick. What similar moments are there where the sport and golfer has to feel the fear and, you know, face their challenge?
I think it's a bit of a tricky one, but it's easy. You can kind of relate it to anything. Like I suppose in golf, I find when you're playing for your club, especially if you're playing at home, if you're playing in a squad, like you're like if you're away, you're kind of, the focus is kind of off you. If you're playing kind of say for instance that day in Senior Cup we were playing Rosslare, we had 3 games at home. Generally, what that is you go to a neutral venue, and there's like maybe 20 teams start out on the Saturday. The top 4 qualify for your semi-finals on Sunday morning and a final Sunday afternoon. That's generally how it's run, but because of COVID and stuff last year, they brought us kind of home and away. So we had, we 3 at home, but it was great. Like we had kind of 30 or 40 people or 50 people, whatever it was, following us, and just I suppose the walk to the first tee, and you're just hoping that you make contact. It's all over ball on the first tee. But yeah, it's a good buzz. Obviously, you're going to be nervous at different times. Like in Mullingar, there was probably certain points maybe in the first round where I was nervous, but I was so relaxed. Obviously a little bit nervous and a little bit tense, but yeah, it's having a bit of a lead come up the last did help. I nearly made a balls if it was a third shot. I suppose you just kind of have to use it. You don't kind of realize, I think, till after, how you can improve. Like in the moment, it's very hard to, like, I suppose the lads like the hurlers and boxers and stuff would tell you, like you just have to deal with it when it comes, and then the next time if it happens again, you kind of know how to deal with it a little bit better, you know.
Right.
Yes, that's the way I kind of find. You're always kind of learning, but you don't realize you're learning until the thing happens again.
Yeah.
You know.
So those marginal gains and room for improvement, that seems to be a hallmark of golf, and even the fact how your continued practice led to you shortening your handicap. I suppose the handicap even is a solid measure of, you know, being able to improve your skills in the golf world, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting out in the handicap obviously is just important for us to try and get into events. I don't really worry about my handicap this year, but I get in anyway. But I think like they've done something last year with the Order of Merit, or it's like top 50 get an automatic spot in a competition regardless of your handicap. So
all right, okay.
I don't kind of have to worry about it this year.
Yeah.
So it's grand.
Cool. As you face into the summer of 2021, do you have golfing goals, or do you just plan on keeping the head down? You've said before that July and August are your peak months, so are you still gunning for success then?
Yeah, it's strange. July and August, like I remember I said that to someone after Mullingar last year. I always tend to play well July, August. I remember I got beaten in the playoff in the Scratch Cup in Waterford. It was August maybe. Mullingar was August. I played well in the South a couple of times. That's the end of July, start of August. So whatever it is about July and August, I don't know. I'm kind of working it around work and stuff. I have all the events in my diary. I won't play them all, obviously, but I'll try and play. Like, work is good that way. I can kind of swap around with lads, and it's easy enough to get a bit of time off. So I'll try and work it as best I can. I'm sure we'll see if hotels and stuff are open. If they're not open, it's going to make things difficult on lads doing a bit of traveling. Like, there's nothing really close to me at home here. But the Irish Amateur is on in the European Club in such a fucking stupid time. Anyway, in August or October, I meant to say. It's fucking Baltic up there.
Right.
But yeah, that's probably the closest one to me. Like, and then they're playing the West, I think, in September, and the East is up in Baltray, up in Loud, and I go to the Hinch. I'll probably play the North in Portrush, and then a couple of weeks later I'll probably play the South, and then go to Mullingar. They'll be kind of the three I'll try and focus on. But like, I'm working, so I try and get as much practice in between as I can, and sure, see how it goes. I'm not playing for a living. I can just go and enjoy it. Like, I don't have to worry about playing shit. If I play shit, I play shit. I'm not like other lads that like kind of go to these events and put so much pressure on themselves that they're barely able to hold the golf club when they get on the first tee. If I play well, fair enough. If I don't, who cares? I get a few pints that evening and I go home the next day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking to make a load of money out of it. I'm not looking to turn pro. I'm not putting any pressure on myself that way. So I just give it a whack, go find it and whack it again.
Yeah. Would you give any advice to people that like just to enjoy it, or like what advice would you give to someone?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I see loads of the lads. Like, loads of lads came to me last year. Yeah, just kind of after lockdown. Lads that would have played a little bit here and there in the summer, and they were kind of worried that we were kind of talking about Gine and Escarty and places like that, and like, you just kind of, everyone would be asking you kind of, after winning and stuff, to be always kind of asking how's the golf going, and thinking of taking it up or something. Just go for it and go and enjoy it. Stop trying. Like, just go and have the crack. Like, you're going out with 2 or 3 of your mates on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, like, jeering each other, playing for a 5 or a 10er, and having a bit of crack. Like, there's no point in taking it serious. Like, there's none of us going to make money in this game, so there's no point in taking it way too serious. Just get out and enjoy it, and break the odd club or two if you have to, and have a bit of crack.
Yeah. We have a few joke questions, or well, not joke, very serious questions that people submitted there, Jason. Golf is businessmen who don't ever want to go home to their wives. Discuss.
No comment.
No comment. Do you have any views on that?
No. I don't have a golf or a wife. So.
I don't. Go on, I'm not saying
anything. At what hole do you usually get bored in a tournament?
About 5 balls from home, when you're playing fucking shit and you just want to go home.
That must be the worst, I'd say, when you're doing shit and you
oh man, yeah.
Out, like.
Stop. I remember last year. Yeah, last year in Portland in the Comic Stroke play. I was actually playing okay, and every day, remember the first 2 rounds I came in, the lads were like, "Well, how did you play?" I actually played all right, but like, my score was shite. And I swear to God, my putting that week, it was just the worst. I might as well have been putting with a hockey stick. It was so bad, and I had to go out. I made the cut. I think I made the cut just on the mark, or maybe inside by 1. And I played shit on Sunday morning. And the first hole on my last round on Sunday afternoon, I blocked it way late, and I lost the fucking ball. Went down, couldn't find it. Had to run back to the tee box, whack another one. And this was like 4 o'clock of a Sunday afternoon. After driving from Portlaoise on Friday evening, having to drive home to Wexford from Port Tumna and back to Portlaoise on Monday morning. I felt like throwing my dogs in the lake going down the first, but yeah, there's just moments like that. You're just like, fuck this. I just like couldn't be arsed. I'd rather be anywhere than here.
Shady, right? That's the reality.
The last time me
that is, that's it. Like, you just, when you're hitting it shit, you just want to get out of there.
Last time me and Flood went golfing, we had to go home early because we ran out of golf balls. We lost them all.
I've never got to that stage now, but hopefully it doesn't happen, touch wood.
This is an important one, Jason. Do you wear 2 trousers, Jason, in case you get a hole in one?
Jesus
Things are wicked bad.
We sometimes go through articles on this podcast of ours, Paper Tuesdays, and I came across one actually, and I wanted to have a chat with you about it. Eugene Fennelly, how an Abbey Leagues man played a record 200 holes of golf in one day. So he did it in 1982 to raise money for a charity, and he started teeing off at 4:50 in the morning, and he finished at 10:14 that night. So he did it in Abbey Leagues. Would you ever like to do that now?
That's 11 rounds.
Not a hole.
11 rounds.
You'd want the tub of soda cream in the freezer and whatever else you need.
Jesus Christ. Now that is a man who didn't like his wife.
That's like 200 holes. Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
Yeah, he did 3 or 3.5 hours, take a break, have a tea, sandwich, a banana, and then go for another 3.5 hours.
Put 11 rounds of golf, is it?
I done the maths, and it's 11.1 rounds of golf. So he played an extra hole, I'd say.
Yeah, he had an average of 73.8 strokes with an average time of 1 hour and 32 minutes per 18 holes, and he completed his fastest 9 holes in just 31 minutes.
He must have been in a buggy.
In a buggy. Well, it's estimated that he took around 90,000 steps from his first tee off to his final putt.
Holy shit!
Holy God!
They did maths in the 80s.
I would bet 200 runs to golf.
Yeah. He was actually he had the same job as you, Jason. Would you believe?
Really?
Yeah.
Screw.
He was a key member of the Laois senior hurling team at the time, and the marathon fell just a few days after his Laois side faced Offaly in the Leinster Senior Hurling Championship semi-final, where they drew. And
that's fair going.
Yeah. And so he trained. Actually, that's gas. So he was training for the replay and doing the golf and marathon as well. Yeah, I don't know. This is the joys of local newspapers. You just get gas stories like that. So that was from Laois Today. So yeah, there's a fun story anyway. We have this thing, Jason, where we've missed him for the last few weeks, and he'd be fierce unhappy and upset if we didn't get to him this week. So this is our flash flood with featuring the one James Flood, the golfing expert that we mentioned earlier. Oh, maybe it's an Aveno. Well, it's fierce topical. Or maybe
go on. Go for it. We'll get another one.
Fellas, whatever about the Dubs breaking the rules. This was a highly structured, highly organised breaking of the rules, right? So there's 9 players arrive out in Ballygriffin. Outside the 5 kilometres, some lads. So there's rule 1 broken. And then you have the highly organised nature of it. You had a coach there doing the session. You had a man on the gate watching who was getting in, who was getting out. And there was 9 lads there. Now, Dublin usually have a panel of about 40. My question is, what are the other 31 lads doing? Where are they training? When did they train? How were they training? You know, it's an absolute disgrace. I think they can slap the rules and get away with it. I don't know what punishment you could put on them. I really don't know. A suspension is not going to work. A fine isn't going to work. Is a loss of home advantage going to make a difference? No. But whatever the punishment is, it should be a nasty one for big cheating bastards.
So apologies for the quality there, but that's one of James's favourite topics, Dubliners. So
all right.
Yeah. Have you
James coming live from the Avery area there? Fucking Pocahontas. James lives in a Disney film now.
do you have any views there?
Like every county team is training. I can't believe people are surprised Dublin are fucking training.
Right?
It's ridiculous. Like, of course,
it's mental, isn't it?
What?
Like, it's just mental. Like, how? Like, what is the big deal about this? Like, a few lads having a kick about in the field, like, it's just.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just front page news, like, it's just.
Slow news. Man. We got in the newspaper. That's how little news is going on lately. Like, well, it is ridiculous. And even golf is the worst of it. Like, why in the name of Jesus can't you stand in a big field away from anyone and hit a ball fucking 100 yards and follow it? Like,
I don't get it.
No.
Like, if there was some sort of excuse that you could have, a reason behind why golf is not going ahead, like, but there's no logical reason to explain why golf is not going ahead. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, look, it's like there's just bigger things going on out there, but it just, there's so many people who could be out there playing and just like to be happy enough to hit a few balls, maybe even on a range, like just open a goddamn range. Open a range and let lads go out and hit a few balls. It's mental. But that whole Dublin thing is just, it's crazy for me. Like, your man, I was reading something about your man in the Deacon last week, like, and now you have this making front page news, and Deadly Farrell getting a ban and the other prick not getting that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, all right, to say the least.
That's the stuff, mental stuff.
Yeah. James is upset though, and he's going to keep the rules. But I like he probably doesn't expect that I'm going to do this, but 5 minutes later he sent this lovely voice note.
Thank God, someday out walking. I'll leave the dog here now at the minute, and we are enjoying the fantastic weather. It's the kind of morning you go into the sea head first and come out with a 10-pound trout in your hand. It's fucking gorgeous out.
So like, how can he go from they broke the rules, we need to do something about it, to
you come out with a trout in your yeah.
That's our flash flood.
That's James.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Well, I suppose the last question, Jason, just golf. What is the buzz you get from your sport?
I suppose I'd be very competitive when it comes to just in general, like if you drank a mouthful of water, I'd have to drink twice that amount, you know.
And Michael's giving a fair fucking whack there.
But yeah, I think it's just miss the like you miss hurling there, like of a summer's day there, you know, you're whatever driving by Belfield or somewhere and the sun's splitting the trees and there's a game on, you'd miss that end of it. So I think golf was a good substitute for me to get that competitive edge back. That's not sensitive. It's one of the. It probably is one of the main reasons that I try and be good at. You know, because I think if I was any kind of mediocre and playing it of a Sunday, I don't know. I don't know if I'd still have the same love for it. But I think just, I suppose the main thing now is the fact that I know I can win, and I'm going to be chasing that for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years or
Deadly.
however much longer I can kind of compete at that level, and we'll see how it goes and keep whacking it away and see what happens.
That sounds great. Yeah. Any other thoughts, Mark?
No, I'm good now.
Well, I just remembered. I'll go and get my book.
Oh,
this thing.
Yeah, we've
What's going on now?
another ex-Wexford superstar that is in our midst.
I crossed the line by Liam Dunn. We take a random page from this, Jason. So you have 1 to 288. What?
Trying to pick a number.
Pick a number between 1 and 2. 288.
117.
Ooh. Do you want to do the honours, Mark?
Yeah, right.
The amount of strokes I'm going to have when I go back to my first round of golf.
Early in 1996, when we played Offaly in the Walsh Cup, you could see that everyone was starting to pull together. And of course, the reason was that it was either Griffin's Way or the highway.
Oh.
There you go.
No.
Beautiful.
I think we're Griffin, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
What was that one from a few weeks ago? Liam Griffin's quote was, "He's not Hannibal Lecter and he's not Mother Teresa." So describing Liam Dunn.
Yeah, he's not the Hannibal Lecter everyone made him out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you are. Jason Rackard, thanks a million. And I know a bit about golf. I don't think I'll take it back up, but
it went so well the first
Jason's going well.
Give it a go, you never know what happens.
Jason do it for me.
We'll leave it to the pros. Thanks for that, Jason.
Cheers, Jason.
Cheers.
Right,
Thanks a million. Good luck.
Cheers. Good luck.